Hi lovelies, welcome back to my channel. It's KK here. In today's video, we're setting up my October 2025 bullet journal together. I've got my planner here, my A5 bullet journal, and a bunch of markers ready to go. Both my bullet journal and my planner will have the same theme, and I'll be setting up my bullet journal first in this video and then my planner in the next video. As usual, let's do a quick flip through of my monthly setups for the year so far. I'll just show you guys the monthly covers since the weekly pages are a bit personal. So for January, I had a pink and bold theme. February was love hearts. March was all about strawberries. April had a yellow and greenish spring theme. A purple floral theme for May. Orange and blue little flowers for June. July was a soft-toned theme inspired by Monet's water lilies. August has a colorful Tetris theme, and September was a blue and pink dot theme. Now for October, I'm going with a blue and brown theme. I've pulled out some markers from my stash, mostly Crayola Super Tips and a couple of zebra outliners. And now let's get started. So I try to use different color combos for each of the 12 monthly themes, and I realized I haven't done a blue and brown yet. This combo has been everywhere lately, probably not just lately, it's been a while, from fashion to illustration, so I decided to bring a bit of that vibe into this spread. I live in New Zealand, so October is actually spring here, but all my social media feed has been full of those cozy autumn browns, cinnamon tones, and pumpkin decorations. I finally gave in to this mood board, and why not? I'm doing the color combo in squares. My dot journal has 5 mil dot spacing, and each square here is 6 by 6 dots. I'll draw all the squares first as a background, let them dry, and then add the drawings on top. You might have noticed I've finally switched back to water-based markers. I've been using acrylic markers for about half a year now, and I love both, but I wanted a change, and also the shades of blue and brown in this set are exactly the ones I want, and water-based colors also feel a bit more breathable. For this spread, I'm using 4 shades of brown and 3 shades of blue, staggering them so the same colors don't sit next to each other. For the patterns on each square, I start with a white gel pen to add dots to the darker brown square since other colors don't show up very well. Most of the patterns are very simple: plaids, flowers, stars, hearts, little birds. I draw them using the same color palette so everything stays cohesive. I think the color combo looks really cute. On the dark blue squares, I use a wet gel pen again to add some hearts. And in case you're wondering, this little drawing here is a pair of shorts I thrifted a couple of days ago. They fit me so well. Pretty lucky considering I bought them online, so I'm really happy with them. Hopefully they don't look too random amongst all these other cute patterns here. And then I put the October title in the dark brown square, only writing OCT here with a black pen so it stands out, and framed it with dotted lines. Then I also added a few bows, a teddy bear, and more flowers, just some everyday cute things. In case you're curious, the notebook I'm using is the Paperideas A5 dotted hardcover journal, which you can find in my store, hedgehogjournals.com. I'll pop a link in the description as well. It's 100 GSM paper, so it handles both acrylic and water-based markers really well. Mine's in light mauve, but there are heaps of other colors. It has 188 pages, enough for 12 monthly setups plus 4 or 5 weekly spreads each month, as well as habit trackers and some other pages in the front. No bleeding issues at all. I've used these markers in this journal before, so I'm totally confident. And here's the dress I thrifted too. It's actually a black polka dot dress, but I colored it dark blue so it fits the theme and keeps the shorts from looking like the only odd one here. Alright, now the October cover page is done. Let's move to the left side for the monthly calendar. I usually use this page for a monthly calendar, sometimes with doodles or stickers for what I call a highlighted day calendar, like a mini memory keeper for the most special thing that happens each day. I know October has 31 days, but since the right side is all tidy squares, I want the left side to match. 31 blocks would mean adding one extra line and throwing off the balance, so I decided to just go with 30 blocks, 5 across and 6 down. Missing one day won't make much difference. You probably wouldn't notice if I didn't mention, right? For the background, I use the lightest brown, almost a beige, and draw the plaid pattern with the lighter blue. I'm just freehanding the lines. I like the relaxed look and won't worry about them being perfectly straight. Then I framed it with a darker blue and just fill any gaps left here and darken the intersections for a bit more detail. I tried adding dates inside the little darker squares, but they didn't show up well and there aren't enough blocks anyway, so I skipped it and I'll just count as I go later. And that's the October monthly cover all done. It feels so warm and cozy. I love it. And now let's move on to the weekly spreads. I'm grabbing my great spacing cheat sheet from the back pocket. It saves so much time. If you haven't done one, I highly recommend it. Just space it on your journal's grid count and your favorite layouts. It'll make your life so much easier. For week 1, I'm putting a patterned band through the middle of the spread with 2 blocks above and 2 below on each page. To have enough writing space, these squares are slightly smaller at 5x5 dots instead of the 6x6 I used for the cover, and there will be 5 squares across each page. And I'm thinking about using the darker blue and brown for the frames of each writing block, so I put the darkest color in the middle to help it blend nicely with the frame later on. On the left page, I put thin blue lines for the inner frame and thicker brown lines for the outer frame, and I'll reverse it on the right page. I draw the frames first so the ink inside the squares has a bit more time to dry. These markers dry pretty quickly, but since I'll be laying more colors on top, I want to avoid any color mixing. If you're new here, I use 2 journals every day in 2025. This bullet journal for habit tracking and daily reflections, and a smaller weekly planner, the one you just saw in the beginning of the video, for scheduling and to-do lists. So the daily reflections will go into these weekly spreads. I usually do an 8-block layout, 7 blocks for 7 days of the week, plus a block for a weekly review. Once the patterns are done, I add the dates and days of the week, alternating the blue and brown. I'm really happy with how it turned out. Has a bit of vintage vibe, don't you think? For week 2, I've kept the same square size but moved the blocks to the top of the left page and bottom of the right. Although I do lots of 8-block layout and I feel there's limited ways of dividing pages into 8, I don't think I've done a layout like this before. It's nice to change from my usual symmetrical spreads. If you've watched my other setups, you know I like to mix up the weekly layouts even within the same theme. It keeps journaling fun even if it's a bit brain burning to figure out new spreads every time. And I finished it with similar frames and titles to week 1. Let's move on to week 3. For week 3, I'm going bold with a plaid pattern. My journal has 37 lines, so I can't divide it evenly into 4 blocks. So I place the top and bottom lines in the white space instead, and I'll draw the lines right to the edge of the page. I also popped another sheet underneath to avoid drawing onto the next page. Now I add a thin brown line next to the wider blue one and a dark blue line next to the brown for extra visual interest. Still going with freehand. I prefer a freehand style anyway, also because this is a bigger journal. Perfectly straight root lines might look a bit too boring or too stiff, I reckon. If it were my weekly planner, which is more compact and has limited space, I might use a ruler, but here I just want to feel more relaxed and free. Also, if you know about these Crayola super tips, they have slanted tips, so if you hold them upright, you get fine lines, and if you tilt them, you get thicker lines, like a highlighter. So the 2-in-1 tips are perfect for creating those plaid patterns, especially when you are alternating between thick and thin lines. Then I wrote the dates in the small blocks using a bolder font and just one letter for the days of the week to save space. And the last step is to add some decorations. I love how this page feels. There's a bit more room to write because of the horizontal layout. And for week 4, I'm doing double frames, alternating dark brown and blue again. I actually meant to stagger them but made a mistake on the right page. Oh well, I just left it as is instead of trying to fix or redraw, learning to embrace imperfections here. Then I added a beige background to the title frame and kept the pattern simple, mostly lines and plaids instead of flowers or stars, since these are more like a backdrop rather than decorations around the titles. I wanted them to sit behind and blend in a bit more. So blue background pattern with blue title and the same for the browns. I even try to fill multiple fine line patterns here and really like the effect. It's a bit trickier to control the pen, but totally doable. I might even use this idea in my planner too. After adding the dates, week 4 is all done, and of course, we've still got one more week to set up. This time, I'm dividing the pages horizontally, Monday to Friday. Each title block is 5 by 5 dots, and then I've got 12 lines left for the weekend and a weekly review, which then makes those blocks 6 by 6. And to keep the size difference subtle, I shifted the weekend and review blocks to the right side, and I'll just use one block for the weekend this time. I also added a tiny square at the end of each line, just like a little full stop. Then I write the dates and days of the week in the blocks and add some dots for decoration. Since the blocks are smaller, I'm sticking to just dots so it doesn't end up looking too busy or messy. And that's it. My October bullet journal setup is complete. Let's have a quick final flip through. I'm really happy with how this turned out. The blue and brown combo feels so cozy and a bit vintage, with just the right touch of cuteness. Thanks so much for hanging out with me today. If you enjoyed the video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe. I'd really appreciate it. Any questions or suggestions, pop them in the comments below. I hope you all have an amazing October, and I'll see you again soon.